You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Oh my gosh, hello.
We're back.
We did not abandon podcasting.
No, I mean, we did.
Well, not
But
forever.
Not forever. No, we're back. Back with Love Your Shelf.
Yes.
You have to name it.
We're rusty, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Not that we were ever super professional about the whole thing.
No, but we have had it's been a crazy, fun, wild and crazy time.
Yeah. It's summer.
Yeah.
And, well, our summer is over. Although the season of summer seems like it's here to stay forever.
I know. I don't know if it'll ever leave.
But it's the perfect time to be indoors,
Yes.
reading and watching stuff. So
yes.
we have some recommendations.
Go, girl.
And it's fully off the cuff. I was just saying.
Oh, did you guys not notice that?
We're usually
Did this sound
very
scripted?
Yeah, clearly. So I've got tons, and I'm not going to try to go through everything that I've read.
We don't
want to
lose all of our listeners, Crystal.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to keep it short.
A little
and sweet.
light, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll have material for
I was
the
about
next
to say, we won't have to
12 or so.
We won't have
that
to
we
watch
do.
new stuff for a while.
Yeah. That really has been
I
a
know.
burden.
Gosh,
you know?
I just hate watching TV.
Yeah, and
Reading
books.
Ugh.
So it's kind of all over the place, the stuff that I have made a list of.
Yeah.
And I even have some movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you even went to the movie theater,
I
didn't
even
you?
went to a movie. Yeah, I will talk about that too. But I'm going to start off with the books.
Okay.
Since we are a library podcast, you know.
I guess.
We'll stay in our lane, sort of. So I read a book called Wannabe, Reckoning with the Pop Culture Moments That Shaped Me by Aisha Harris.
Is she a millennial?
Yes.
Yep. Sounds like a girl who listened to the Spice Girls.
Yes. So she's a critic on Pop Culture Happy Hour.
Yes, I knew that name.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's good.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah. And it's very much in her, wheelhouse. It's lots of, if you are a millennial, especially, maybe especially a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
It's for anybody.
Yes.
But a millennial woman is who wrote it, and she's talking about the stuff that really impacted her. And,
Yep.
Race also favors in there, or factors in there, actually. And so I'd recommend it if that's your jam, which I think you would like.
I was just about to say, all that sounds right up my alley.
And she mentioned the documentary called The Stories We Tell by Sarah Polley. So I'm going to... That's not a book. I'm already off topic.
It's okay.
But it's a documentary about... I don't think I'm giving anything away. I think you would know this just by looking it up. But Sarah Polley was an actress now, or she still acts, I guess. But she also directs, and she was... as a child, everybody kind of joked with her that she didn't look like the rest of her family and that kind of thing. And, you kind of said, oh, you're adopted.
Yeah.
So she, after her mother has passed away, she starts investigating it, she's just asking questions, asking about her mother, and finds out
She was adopted?
No.
Oh. Something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
She finds out a secret.
Oh, okay.
And she's really smart, and she does a great job with the documentary.
Cool.
So I would recommend that as well.
Neat. Okay.
I also read another nonfiction one called Quietly Hostile by Samantha Irby. She's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
I
love the title.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel that way. Yeah.
Her titles are always great. And I've talked about her before. But she's kind of raunchy, really just kind of brutally honest. She talks about herself very honestly, and it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, love it.
So, another one, recommend. Then I read this is a fiction, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. It's not brand new, and there is a second part called The Boy on the Bridge, or second in a series. And there's also a movie that was made of it several years ago with Glenn Close.
Okay.
And I don't remember how it came to me, to be read, but it appeared, and so I read it. And it's about, it's apocalyptic. It's about sort of like a zombie type creature. People turn into what they call hungries. And so they're terrifying. And it's spreads through a type of cordyceps, like in The Last of Us, like a mushroom type fungus thing, which is just the grossest.
So nasty.
And so I did not enjoy that part of it, but the hungries are like a kind of a different take. It's kind of almost like a cross between like a vampire, zombie, because they
into blood.
When you're not, no, they're into everything.
Anything. Okay,
but when they're not like actively hunting you, if you're like very still and they can't see or smell you, then, or smell you, I guess, I don't know, but then they just kind of stand or whatever in kind of suspended animation. And my goodness. It's kind of like, they'll all be like somewhere, and then
just
and
chilling until
you get close to them, and then
they spring into
swarm.
action.
Yes. And it's pretty good. It's basically it's I don't want to you may be able to hear some background noise,
children playing,
but that's just
it's just the sounds of children, although I think these children might be arguing with each other, but it is the sounds of children having fun.
Cute.
They do.
Anyway, so if you hear that, don't be
alarmed.
Anyway, it's not hungries for sure. Hungries are very quiet, so
we wouldn't know. Okay, thank goodness.
But it's beside the fact that they're a different kind of take on the zombie. It's also kind of a different take on the structure. It starts off in a school. Okay. And the children the children in the school. This is like several years post Hungry Town or whatever, and then and it's in Great Britain. Okay. And so they don't know if this is all over the world. Okay. But it just was so fast and just happened so quickly that they set up these like military posts or whatever, and then they set up this school for the children. But the children are all locked in their rooms. And then when they go to class, they're like wheeled in wheelchairs, and they're like strapped in. What? And so you don't know what's going on. Turns out,
oh my gosh,
they're hungries. But they're part hungries, and so they're like they're being experimented on. But they're in school while they're
I was waiting for like the twist. I was like, there can't just be a slight zombie twist, like creature twist,
right? No, this
that's cool.
Yeah. So, then lots of action happens right after that.
Okay, cool.
So, lots of
Immediately after,
lots of action. So, if you're into zombies
or hungries,
that's the book for you. Or hungries, or children being
turning into part monsters.
Yeah.
If you're into any of those things, this is the book for you. How specific?
There is somebody out there raising their hand. So, yes. Bring on the children,
at a checklist of
the
all
child
those
monsters.
Things. Yeah.
And then I read opposite end of the spectrum, the new JoJo Moyes book called Someone Else's Shoes. And it is, I would rank it among the sillier JoJo Moyes books. Basically, it's about a frumpy middle-aged mom who is kind of having a hard time, and she goes to the gym and picks up the wrong gym bag.
Oh, gosh.
And so she and her shoes were in her bag. And so she's on her way to like a big business deal.
Of course.
And it's just like red bottom, high heels.
Oh, no.
In this bag.
Yes.
And so she has to,
Wear
wobble around in them. But they end up giving her confidence, and so
her whole life changes.
Things change.
Oh, I wish that would. High heels would not do it for me.
Yeah.
I would immediately trip and fall, and then self-esteem would be out the door.
Yes, exactly. Well, she does.
Good for her.
She does. She wobbles around, and it doesn't go immediately well. It's not like magic or whatever.
Okay. Sisterhood of the Traveling.
In fact, at the first meeting that she goes to, they think that she's inebriated
because she's wobbling around.
Yeah, she's toddling.
Yes.
So it doesn't immediately work out.
Okay.
The other lady who belonged to those shoes, obviously a very different kind of lady. She has to wear like the schlubby lady's clothes.
Yep.
And while doing so, she finds out that her husband is divorcing her. And so she goes down a whole different path.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a reverse Cinderella type thing going on. Anyway, it's cute.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But
we still read these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And then in a whole other different direction is Why Fathers Cry at Night.
Oh my God. It's nonfiction.
Yeah. Exactly it is. It's a memoir in love poems, letters, recipes, and remembrances by Kwame Alexander.
Oh.
And so it's good. It is.
Yeah.
I think I would recommend it for anybody to read. Particularly, there's a chapter on his relationship with the poet Nikki Giovanni and what kind of an impact she had on him, but in a really unusual way.
Okay.
So,
That's
I would
cool.
say it is a very good book. And let's see. Oh, so I have a book club.
That's right.
At the Fredonia Brewery. And so the past couple of selections have been actually Circe
That's
by
right.
Madeline Miller, which was
I've
one of
heard
our
of it.
big reads. Yeah, we may have talked about that before. And so that was great. And then The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about that one because it came out a couple years ago.
Okay.
But it's a horror novel and very unusual. Like the story is unique. The characters are not ones that you run into often.
Okay.
The setting is on an Indian reservation, and it's about these 4 young men who, despite it being an extremely frowned upon, or I mean, on the reservation at least, they're told not to hunt in a certain area, and then they do.
Okay.
And so they hunt elk, and they just kind of do too much.
Oh.
Put it that way. And I'm not going to go into details, but they go too far, and then they're shunned because of it. But then years later, things start to happen to all of them, and so there's revenge.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And so it is. Yeah, and it's told in a really unique way. So
cool.
Enjoyed that too. But I was just going to say what the next title is for that book club, but I cannot remember what it is.
It's okay.
We do have copies of it, and you can join that book club on Facebook and find out what the name of the book is.
Just
and
don't
also,
ask Crystal.
and also when we meet and all that
Cool.
kind of stuff. We meet once a month. And then I'll talk about a couple more books because there's been some really, really good ones.
Yeah.
Let's see, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, who's the author of Babel,
that's
depending
right,
on if you're, British or American or whatever. It is kind of an insider look. It's a novel. It's an insider look at the publishing industry, and so the author is young and has kind of been outspoken a little bit, like through social media and stuff, about her experiences in the publishing industry. And at one point, the heroine of the novel, her publisher tells her that she just has to write anything that will be a follow-up to this major, super successful novel. So it's reflecting her experience of having written Babel, which got all these awards and, super popular, like her very first thing.
Yeah.
She has another, more niche series, but
this was the first.
She had this big, big novel, and so the character kind of mirrors the author. And so it's very meta. But it also... And I don't want to give too much away about that either, but the yellow face aspect of it is that a white, the heroine or the main character is white, but she writes a story about a non-white character. And so there's a lot of discussion about that.
Okay, interesting.
But then there's also a mystery involved.
Cool.
And so, It
nice,
is very, very good.
Wow.
But it's also gotten tons of accolades as well. It's been very popular. But,
cool.
And we're looking forward to whatever that writer comes up with next.
Nice. Love it.
Yes. And then I read I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. And I really was kind of drawn in. It's a mystery. The mystery is not... Now, I listened to it, but so that sometimes impacts how I think about mysteries.
Yeah, totally.
But each chapter, there is... it starts off with the one about the women who weren't believed. And then it talks about all of these people who were not.
Interesting.
And it centers on a podcast... and these citizen detectives who will follow any wild goose chase and make a mystery where there might not be, but interspersed through this mystery there are these details from real assaults and real murders, and it's chilling. It's just this is, and I think it highlights this. Thing. I think there's been a lot of blowback about true crime lately.
I was just about to say,
there's a lot of people questioning the main one.
The podcast, My Favorite Murder. Yes.
There's a lot of people kind of backing away from that and not really enjoying how frivolous they are about it. Because it is real.
Yeah.
True crime.
These are I've thought to myself if I were murdered, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
Somebody being oh my God, can you believe this story?
And then kind of, making light of your real self and your real history. And
and I know, I haven't listened to that in a very long time, but I know that toward the end of it's probably been a few years, but toward the end of my listening to it, I started to notice that they would kind of say things to be clear, this is a victim we're talking about, that whatever. Yeah. But again, you're still making money and traveling.
I mean, I'm not against it.
No, I know. It's just it's such a fine line, and it's tricky. It's a tricky topic.
Yeah, I definitely go through phases. Sometimes I'll, be down to watch some Dateline or something.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not a super fan
same. I'm aware of how it affects my anxiety. It affects my mental health.
This was a really smart way.
That's what I was about to say, though. I think that's such a clever... I think it sounds like it walks that line.
And it keeps bringing you back, because there's some silliness, especially these citizen detectives. It's really give kind of, I don't know, gives them a little too much credit. That name.
Yeah.
But, these people who are just, like, randomly doing a podcast.
Yeah.
So it kind of is a little bit funny or quirky or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it kind of brings you back to
interesting.
Actually,
yeah, that's cool.
And then I also thought of some other pop culture references as I was reading it. If you've been watching Yellow Jackets, especially in the last season, the Christina Ricci character and Elijah Wood.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I'm not going to get into anything. I won't spoil it. But they're kind of like some levity. They're in this, like, group where they try to solve crimes and stuff. And so it made me think about that. It reminded me of that. And the same thing with Only Murders in the Building. And
which I need to catch up on that one.
There's a new season that just started.
I think I maybe started the second season and fell off for some reason, but I did like it.
I think I liked the second season better than the first.
Nice, yeah. I remember we were enjoying it, so who knows what happened, but...
I was not on board the first couple of episodes. Of the very first season.
Yeah.
I had a hard time getting, and I still don't really enjoy Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
There's just something about her, but she grew on me a little after that first season.
I'll just never forget. I think I've mentioned this on here before. Martin Short's character and how he only eats, like, dips is one of the funniest, like, little subtle character traits ever.
Yes.
I just think it's so funny. And also, I love dips. I think I could live on that.
Yeah. I'd go to a party.
I know, exactly. Anyway.
But yeah, no, it's hilarious. Those two.
Oh my gosh.
Are a match made in
heaven.
They
really are.
And then there's also another reference in the book that reminded me of the movie Promising Young Woman, where the character or the person tries to use their feminine wiles to trick somebody, which is always just whenever that happens in a movie or a book, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I'm like, please don't do that. Don't do that. It's never, it doesn't work.
Tricking. Out. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oof. Anyway, so
I'm like, I don't know. I've gotten by just fine living my life that way. Just kidding.
Well, Promising Young Woman, that character, she seemed like she was doing great and didn't work out for her.
No.
Not to spoil anything on that one either, but yikes.
Don't do that.
And then back to another lighthearted one. I just finished Lost Lake by Sarah Addison Allen. I've read a few of her books before, and this one is like magic realism. Made me think of like the tone of like Practical Magic or something like that. So it's cute.
Yeah.
And it's about a woman who is having a hard time in her life. She's got an 8-year-old daughter, and she decides that she's going to go to this like lakeside cabin. Well, it was like a recreation area that has like multiple cabins that's owned by her great aunt.
Okay.
And her great aunt is going to sell the place. So she and her daughter go. Her daughter never been there, and it's like populated by quirky women, like these 4 women, and then the mom and her daughter, and like small town life in this little place where people come in the summertime, and it's just adorable.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And there's little mystery, little romance. It's very lighthearted. It's a quick read.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's cute. So let's talk about what I have
been watched.
And so I went because I was convinced by social media.
Yes.
That Oppenheimer really needed to be seen in the theater because the sound and the experience and everything had to be experienced
like nothing else. How'd you feel?
Yeah. It did not need to be seen in a theater.
Could have watched it at home and gotten the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, I knew it was going to be, a biopic.
Sure.
That it was going to be, lots of science and talking and stuff.
Yeah.
Which it's great.
Yeah.
I thoroughly
Nothing
enjoyed
against science
it.
or talking.
Yeah. But it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I knew, I had to weigh that out because I'm not good anymore as an old person. Being able to sit in the theater without going to sleep.
My hips start hurting. That's my thing.
Yeah. It's not super duper comfortable.
And I've also, because of the way we watch television now as a society, I have a hard time sitting still that long. Mm-hmm. It's sad to admit, but...
Yeah, you can't just get up and pause it, go have a snack.
Grab a snack and come back,
Yeah. Or stop it and get back to it the next day.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I'm a big fan of that too. Starting a movie late, knowing I'm not going to finish it tonight.
And I'm a person who used to go see a movie in the theater twice a week.
Yeah.
Just all the time.
Yeah.
But in the past few years, that has not been my MO.
It really got us out of that habit.
Yeah.
But you did it.
I did it. I accomplished it. But it's a good movie.
Cool.
It is not the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And there were some aspects of it that I really kind of pulled me out of it. There's a lot of visuals that are meant to kind of represent the interior of the character of Oppenheimer. The way that he's been impacted by the gravity of what he's doing and what he's done. And it just didn't work very well.
Okay.
It didn't seem toward the end it got better. There was a lot with the sound and how things would suddenly be quiet and suddenly,
that makes a difference in how you're
but otherwise
yeah,
I would probably have waited to see that at home.
Knowing what you do now.
Where I could nap in half of it.
Yeah.
But it was good. I have not yet seen Barbie.
Me neither.
Because
my dad has seen it. My parents went to see
everybody
it.
I know has seen it.
I was how have I not seen it?
And I
was trying to literally crawl through the last week of summer reading, you, and I know that was you too.
Yes. We, people don't. I mean, I guess our library patrons realize how much we have going on here during the summer.
Totally. But
it's a lot.
Yeah.
And we've got, kids and adults and teenagers and activities.
Every day. And that's great. But I'm so glad it's over now.
That just means we're not doing a whole lot else.
No.
But, so I'll probably go.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll report back because I hear so many good things.
Yeah, same.
And, but, those two kind of competing movies, you almost had to, choose which, which you're going to jump on board.
Both, but, can you, Oppenheimer alone being 3 hours? No.
Yeah. Not on the same day or even the same weekend. I was kind of done with the screen after that.
Yes.
But then I have been still watching some series.
What you got?
And
I feel like things are a little dry at the moment.
Well, I watched the end of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I need to watch the last season.
Yeah. It wasn't that great.
That's what I've heard. Which is so sad. The first season.
The first season was electrifying.
It was. Electrifying is the right word. I was
this
is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Yeah. So, satisfying and beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the color palette and, the costumes.
Yes.
And everything.
And I feel like the people who... Because, it was written and, I think, developed by Amy Sherman Palladino, who did the same with Gilmore Girls. And I feel like people would always complain about Gilmore Girls, how they talk so fast. The dialogue was just so fast.
I like that.
I do too. But I feel like for the people that didn't like it in Gilmore Girls, it just 1,000,000% is perfect in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Mm-hmm. And I never was a Gilmore Girl. Mm-hmm. Wasn't my jam, but... or I don't know, maybe I just never really gave it a chance. I never watched it.
Well, and I
much.
feel like I don't know how old you were when it came out, but it might have just been kind of like because I was like the perfect age, as it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have just been like you weren't interested at the time.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
I probably wasn't watching television much at the time.
Yeah.
It's a while back. Let's see. I did watch another movie, She Said, which is on Prime. It's an adaptation of a 2019 nonfiction book of the same name by the writers Joey Cantor and Megan Twohey, played by Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan. And those women are the ones who investigated Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, okay.
And
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes.
And so basically, it's kind of like there is. It doesn't sound super fascinating, I guess, or like there's a lot of action, but there is like they're pressed into trying to get these witnesses or these victims to say what happened to them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of under a time crunch because they have to get this article out, by a certain time. And of course, then once they do get people to do it, and one of the one who like cracked it was Ashley Judd, and she plays herself.
That's right. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so she's the first one who will admit that what happened.
Put
to
her name on
and
what she's saying. Yeah.
They have like a dozen or something. They have a
but
lot
everyone
of them that nobody
wanted
wants
to be
say.
anonymous. Exactly.
And so they're going to these people's like to go across the country to find where they're living now and try to get them to talk and
cool.
But also obviously being very aware of how terrible and painful and what that could do to people's
this all is.
careers and stuff, because it really was like up until that point men like that were untouchable.
They had the power. Yeah.
So
no questions asked.
It is definitely a good,
cool,
fictionalized, obviously, version of that documentary.
Making a note of that.
Yeah. And I started Scenes from a Marriage with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. It's on Max, which is HBO.
Oh,
now.
I refuse.
I know. Don't get it.
I hate it so much. I know, it's so stupid. I feel like I sound weirdly passionate about it, but it was such a dumb, unneeded change. Okay.
Right. And they're very good actors.
Because hold on, you said
Oscar Isaac. Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
But, I watched a few episodes and then stopped it. Because it's depressing.
That's what I was about to say.
And some of the way that the characters react, it is scenes. So it's like in the first episode, there's it's like a certain time period, and then the next one it jumps to a completely like they're having problems.
Okay.
Anyway, and so some of the issues that come up are just so unbelievable to me.
I'm so curious.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, being married, I'm like, some of these issues are kind of unbelievable to me.
I mean, I get that there's all kinds of things to,
No,
go
I'm
down
joking.
in marriage,
I'm sure
but,
it is. Like,
but yeah, it was just, I think because it does, you don't see the progression.
Yes,
it's
you're
jarring.
just kind of like, whoa. I can't even imagine how we got here.
How did they get there?
Maybe that's the point.
I'm sure it is because it is scenes from marriage.
Yeah.
But the fact that I didn't care enough to find out if they're going to like go back and explore that
tells you something.
Was telling.
Well, and it sounds like the kind of thing like both of those actors, like you said, they're amazing. But it also sounds like, I don't know, it makes me think of like one act play when I was in high school.
Yes.
The like dramatic period pieces where it was just everyone's chance to fall on the ground and cry.
Yeah, it's like, hi, we're trying to get a Golden Globe or whatever.
Yes. And also, guess what? It's not that hard to do that. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not amazing, but like anyone can fall on the floor and cry.
I don't know. Well, I know why I watched it because it has Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba.
Oh,
like, okay,
I already know what
it.
it is. Is it good?
It is insane.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's on Prime. It's called 3,000 Years of Longing. And it is bonkers.
Yeah.
I did not know what to expect. But basically, Tilda Swinton finds a genie in a lamp. And it's Idris Elba, which, okay.
Ooh, I'd be like, well, that's one of my wishes.
It is kind
Check
of like
that one
that. It's a little bit like that, really.
That's so funny.
And then he, like, tells his story of the thousands of years or whatever.
Of living in a lamp.
Yikes. It was so weird.
Wow.
And not weird in a good way.
Yeah.
Weird in a...
Y'all need to calm down.
How did they convince those people to be in that movie?
Right. Oh my gosh, no.
Like, when he comes out of the lamp, he's like giant. I guess it's, like, oh, I'm not acclimated to your world or something.
Yeah.
Or what, I don't know. And so he's in this hotel room with her, just like, hunched over
yeah.
to fit in the room. And
but like, you're a genie. You can't just like...
It just seemed silly.
Yeah.
So, that's where...
Oh my gosh, I was so curious. I watched the trailer, and even the trailer, I was like, wowee.
Yeah.
What's happening?
You could not guess where it's going to go. I can tell you that.
Goodness.
But and Tilda Swinton has done some strange things.
Yeah.
Which made me think of the movie Only Lovers Left Alive with her and Tom Hiddleston, which is directed by Jim Jarmusch. And now that one is worth watching. They play vampires.
Love it.
But real low-key vampires. Like,
I love that.
They mostly, like, lounge around and listen to music and stuff. They're not...
Cool.
They're not...
Like, constantly on the
movie,
hunt.
yeah. But Jim Jarmusch has a whole string of movies that... I guess since, like... maybe in the 80s he started. Down by Law, Stranger Than Paradise, Mystery Train, and then in the 90s he made Dead Man with Johnny Depp, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I highly recommend that. And The Only Lovers Left Alive. But I tried to find it, and it's not...
don't you hate that?
I think you can pay for it.
But, but still.
I wasn't in the mood to do that at that time.
Yeah, not
it's
desperate enough.
Yeah. But anyway, it's out there. And I would recommend that. And Dead Man. And if you like those, then I would go look at his older movies as well.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I watched a new series called Will Trent. And it's on Hulu.
I don't know if I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Here's what I found.
Siri, get out of here. We weren't asking
Nobody
you.
asked. Sorry.
That, like, scared me, and I scared you, too. Anyway.
If we were professional podcasters, we would cut that out.
Oh, no, we are not going to do that. We're going to keep...
We used to do that.
We did.
In the early days.
I know.
I was editing and putting things, like, yeah.
And now it's just like, y'all are going to
This is the realness. You're getting the realness. But so it's about this quirky detective guy. There's a million of those. And he's had something happen, had like a, he made a bad decision and something terrible happened, and so he's kind of working his way back.
Oh, okay.
But he's also like, one of those, like, of course, genius Sherlock guys who walks in and everybody treats him bad, but treats him like he's a crazy person, but he immediately solves all the crimes.
Yeah, immediately just like, tells you everything about your life, and that shows you for making fun of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So,
But still, I still will watch any of those.
Yeah. Back when Monk was on, I watched those. Yeah. He's not quite as quirky as that. Yeah. And it's not like a comedy. Okay. So put that out there. Okay. But it's set in the South, and now I can't even remember because his accent is so weird. It's not his real accent. This actor who plays the Will Trent guy. It's like nothing I've ever heard before.
Where are they supposed to be from?
He's supposed to be like from New Orleans or something like that. And
it's like,
and I was like, how did the producers and the other actors and the directors, how did they allow this to happen? Because as soon as he starts talking,
you're like, that's not it.
Yeah, it's like as if a cartoon puppet is trying to do the accent.
Yeah, like a Sesame Street character is trying to sound like he's from New Orleans.
Yes. And it's not real consistent either. Anyway, that I actually probably stuck watching it because I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Is he going to do this the whole time?
And he does.
Wow.
Sometimes it's not as insane.
Yeah.
But he made a strong choice, and then nobody said anything about it.
Oh, man.
So it's real weird. And so after I experienced that, I was like, is it just me? Like, maybe I don't know what.
You want to know what the internet says?
I checked what the internet said, and they agreed with me. Yes.
I'll always search whatever it is, Reddit, whenever I want, like, the real opinions.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they
tore them apart.
And I was like, I felt so gratified. I was like, yes, okay. I'm not crazy over here.
Whenever Nick and I would watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, that was the only time I would ever get on Twitter because I wanted to know what like other people were saying to make fun of these people. And I'd be like, see, they noticed it too.
Yeah, it was just us.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's something special.
Oh, my gosh.
And another something special, too, that I watched. And it had like 2 episodes out when I started it. Mm-hmm. It's called The Clearing. It's on Hulu. And, wow. Okay, so Teresa Palmer, who's the main character in Discovery of Witches, which is another
I know that,
good
yeah.
episode. It's based on a book.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And also in The Clearing is Guy Pearce, one of my favorite actors. And so I was like, oh, well, this sounds great.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story. Mm-hmm. And it's this crazy woman who, unhinged woman, I'll put it this way, who like started her own cult and kidnaps all of these children.
Oh, no.
And bleaches their hair.
Oh, no.
And so it's like Children of the Corn around. And
so what, she wanted to be like have a children's cult?
Mm-hmm.
Like specifically cult for children?
Yeah.
Well, that's just
there are adults
fair.
too, but they're growing them into, future cult members.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did not know what to expect about that, and I watched the 2 episodes and didn't return. So
okay. Noted.
I might because of those actors.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And because it is a true story. And,
or it's
based on
I forgot that
story.
yes.
And so, I'm curious.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. But
I might look to see if there's a documentary about that.
Yeah.
Instead
a concise
of
hour and a half version.
Yeah. There is a big twist in it. Like in the second episode, there's like a wow.
Yeah.
What moment,
Okay.
So.
Crazy.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And I watched some lighthearted stuff. Some food-related stuff. Mm-hmm. Like Crime Scene Kitchen, which is on Hulu. Mm-hmm. I love to have a food show going on while I'm cooking or cleaning the house or whatever. Because I cannot get away from being a multitasker. I'm always doing at least 2 things.
I know.
And I try not to, but it's hard.
It's why I am so obsessed with audiobooks.
Yeah.
Like, it's very helpful. If I'm even just like filing my nails,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I'm taking it all in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I've always been like... Audiobooks has been more of a thing for me than podcasts. But,
yeah.
But podcasts, too.
Yeah.
I used to have some that... I had a job where I could listen to stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Man, I was up on all the things. And this was like this is a long time ago, so there were not as many
Yeah,
podcasts as
yeah.
there are now. But yeah, and audiobooks as well. But things like Crime Scene Kitchen is
Yes. Perfect
but
background.
basically
Yeah.
they bring in these pairs of chefs, pastry chefs, and then they go into like a staged like kitchen where there's like evidence of what has been made in there, and then they have to figure out what it
my
was
gosh,
and then make it.
funny. Like
It's cute.
the things they come up with
I know.
too.
Joel McHale is the host of it.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. Yes.
And so, yes,
Jinx. Coughed at the same time.
it's very noticeable too. Like
I know.
it's-
Sorry, I'm hacking up
sorry.
along.
Yeah.
We're really getting comfortable with you guys.
Right. Again, no editing.
Nope.
So, yeah, there'll be like a butter wrapper in the trash can and a certain kind of pan in the dishwasher. And like sometimes it's
I was about
really
to say,
hard.
like, that could be so many things.
There'll be other stuff too.
Yeah, I know. But
But
yeah.
like,
Maybe like a certain sauce like left on the, or like
Yeah.
sprinkled on the counter or something. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm just like that
yeah,
kind
there'll
of thing.
be like a smear on the
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
then they have to make it.
Wow.
And anyway, it's very, very low stakes for me.
I would
to watch
hope
it,
so. You're just like really wanting to,
Yeah,
rooting for
invested
this
in
crime.
it, yeah. And then, okay, two more, and we'll wrap it up. But I watched Silo on Apple TV.
I watched that too.
And what did you think?
It was so slow.
Yeah.
I was real on board at first. I can't remember. Kind of at the beginning, there was more of a like, ooh. But then they don't acknowledge the big thing you find out for the entire season. And then I hated the ending. Like, it was just one of those where I was like, you know that this isn't going to be out until next year, right? Or the next year.
Or now
and
with
I don't...
with
With the writer's strike,
it'll be like 5 years.
Yes, and so I'm
If it
really
comes
not going to care about it then.
Yeah.
I'm really tired of shows doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind okay, Severance left on, I felt like it was a decent note. It was like, I am dying to know what else is going to happen, but I wasn't mad about it, I guess. This show, I just kind of thought it was annoying. I mean, I watched the whole thing, so I
Yeah.
kept coming back, but...
It was almost like they had 4 episodes worth.
Yes,
and they made
of
it
good
into
content.
8
Yeah,
or
good
whatever.
content. Yes. I completely agree.
And they rush through. Like, Rashida Jones is in the
Yes.
first episode, and the other, the guy who plays her husband,
Uh-huh.
they're, big names. You think,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything, but there's a surprise twist there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of that happens really quick, and then it drags out the whole rest
Yes.
of it. So it's just kind of
There were
odd
so
pacing.
many episodes where I was like, when are we going to get back to that thing? When are we going to get back to that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fluff, but
Yeah.
it was an interesting concept.
Well, the last thing that I will recommend is, I don't know how I haven't heard about it because it's been on for years and years. It's called Taskmaster.
I've heard of it, but don't know what it is.
You can watch it on like Pluto TV or like YouTube even. But the host is Greg Davies, who's this hilarious, enormous British comedian. And so I've seen him in other stuff and really thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he plays this, like, the Taskmaster, and he gets and like the creator of the show plays his assistant. And he's also like on the show, but he's the one he's actually running it.
Yeah.
And he's the guy, the assistant showrunner, creates all of these challenges, and they get on like 6 or I don't know. They have several comedians usually, and then they just give them things to do, and of course
Just
they're
give 'em
comedians.
tasks.
But they're like crazy things.
Yeah.
Like one time they like send him to there's like a bathtub, like a standalone, like a claw-footed tub outside. It's filled with water, and they're supposed to get all the water out of the tub. and like who can do it fast? Who can do it the fastest?
That's great.
And so there's just so many different little
funny.
things like that, like how like they're put in a tinted room and put a watermelon in front of them and say like see who can eat the most watermelon in a minute, you know. And then like
sounds like library stuff, library programs.
Oh, I was like, I'm taking
notes. Yep.
Although some of those things I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
But you know, like, how do you get into the watermelon to then eat it?
Yeah.
You know?
You just try to take a bite.
And then, you know, like watching them figure out how to get the water out of the tub or whatever.
I love it.
All these different things. It's like...
That's funny. I had no idea.
Thought-provoking, but also hilarious.
Yeah.
And
I had no idea that's what that was. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And there's like seasons and seasons of it.
What?
I have only watched a few episodes at this point.
How funny.
Hilarious. Recommend.
That's great. What's it on? Is it on Hulu?
No, it's you have to kind of.
Oh, you said
it.
Pluto. Yes, that's right.
It's just
fun.
Different seasons are on different things.
Nice.
Yeah. That would just why, honestly, because I'm lazy about shows. I just put on like whatever comes up first. And so I don't really like to hunt for stuff.
No.
I did, after watching Oppenheimer, I did go on a hunt for Cillian Murphy movies, but I'll talk about that next time.
We'll have a Cillian Murphy themed podcast.
You could. I could totally do that. So until next time.
Which will not be months from now. It'll be next week.
Yeah. Well, let's not make any promises.
It'll be very soon, sooner than 3 months from now.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.